Welcome to the Accelerating Digital Adoption Podcast. I'm Jay Kerway, Managing Partner at Value Add Group, leading healthcare innovation. At Value Add Group, our accelerators help healthcare leaders, like my man Leo, get unstuck and accelerate digital adoption for better, faster R&D. So, Leo, Omnichannel Executive Director at Ionis, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Jake. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. As is customary, I like to start with a tune that I'm going to play here to help us get into the right mood. You ready?
Yes, I am.
You hear that? It's 15 seconds right here. Feel it. Feel it, Leo. Yeah, buddy. Let's do that smile.
Good vibes.
There it is. That's the whole point.
Good vibes.
Yeah, it's
as usual.
It's the primer, as usual.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us again. Leo, remind me, which accelerator did you attend with us?
Well, I had the pleasure to attend the 2024 in Moab last year. Yeah, exactly 1 year ago.
It has? Yeah, it was May last year.
Yep.
That's right.
Exactly.
That was good times. You and I had just met only briefly, maybe a few months before that. We did.
Yes.
You remember me doing that strengths session on a bus?
On a bus. Yeah, that was fun.
Your whole
first time that I had that that workshop like that on a bus. That was fun.
Hey, it helped the time pass.
Yeah. And it's different. Help you get out of your mind and your same kind of a framework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done strengths with me at least twice. Maybe a few more. Has that helped at all? Has it been something that you've been able to apply?
Yeah, all the time. That's gave me a lot of confidence, better understanding of how to reach out to people, how to speak confidently, how to manage better meetings. It's just a combination of different skill sets that I think is helping me to navigate complexities.
So, okay, so Moab, Utah is not easy to get to.
Moab is not easy to get out of. You know, last time it took me 24 hours to get back home.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so look, what? So travel's one reason. What were other reasons that made it difficult for you to attend our accelerator last year?
That's a very good question. You know, I was reflecting about it, and I think that was more into time, focus, and the energy, right? Because I was getting ready to launch our first wholly owned product, and attending. That was my thinking at the time. Attending the workshop could distract me from the main focus of my job, you know, and spending the time in being fully focused on giving the best and getting the most out of the workshop. That was like my main concerns at the time, you know, which is like, I'm gonna be distracted of the work that needs to be done by attending this. This is gonna work. It's gonna be worth it, worth the effort, the traveling, the time dedicated, and when I attend workshops, I want it to be fully focused and, you know, participating and getting the most out of it and learning and upskilling myself. And at the time, I was like super focused on my job and, you know, concentrated in getting the work done.
Was it the first ever launch by Ionis?
Yes, in 35 plus years. Yeah.
So it was a big deal. It wasn't.
That was a big deal, man. Yeah.
You're a pioneer, and you were doing something that had never been done before. And then you got to spend all this time not only traveling to and from, but also focus on it. So, I mean, short answer, was it worth it?
I think it was, you know.
And in what ways?
I gained tons of confidence. I'm seeing this differently. I got frameworks. Now I understand that, tools and technology and data, they're there, but we need frameworks. And this is about mindset, having the right mindset to test and try, having the right mindset to communicate your ideas better, to get the buy-in from the top, hopefully. Making people to test and try as well, because if not, this is not gonna work. It's going nowhere. So I got a bunch of frameworks that now are helping me to navigate better, designing, architecting, putting the right business case up front, and helping people to understand those use cases and the benefit behind it, and why we can use and how we can use technology and data to make that happen. Small POCs, but POCs that can be where we can scale them up quickly. POCs where we can test and try quickly and iterate and move forward, And also opening a big door for people that are curious about this, and not afraid of being replaced by technology or data. That's very important, like taking that fear away of people is just like helping them to feel very familiar with these things that they don't know. Sometimes they don't know what they don't know. So I think that frameworks and the mindset was like two key big wins for me out of the workshop.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that. One of the challenges we have, of course, is when you come to the accelerator, we're focused on adoption or use of digital tools. Because what we found, which is what you just shared, is it's not the technology, it's not the budget, it's not the hype. There's energy around it.
Yeah.
There's energy, there's buy-in, there's focus, there's priority. So you talked about frameworks and mindset, helping people become familiar, overcome fear. What specifically from the accelerator, maybe there's an example of a tool you've used or a mindset that you've adopted. Like what was a breakthrough for you? What's been a breakthrough for you in the last year now that you've been able to apply some of these learnings?
I think that the breakthrough speaks for me about how you're defining and visualizing your next horizon, which is a very good framework for me. So how am I seeing myself in 3 months from now? What do I want to achieve? And by doing that, that helps me to navigate and to think about what are the things that I need to do today so I can go into that next horizon in 3 months, 6 months from now. And this is not about what I said, and you just said that about technology or data or anything else. It's about trust, confidence, and timing, because the right timing is key. So last year I couldn't just come up with that cool kind of a digital innovation because we were focused on launching our first wholly owned product. That was not the right timing. This year is about AI. What can we do with AI? What are the right use cases? Who are our early adopters in the company that want to participate, learn more, and spread the word? So now I have a better sense of how my horizon in the company looks like and what are the things that I can achieve. So that kind of framework is really cool for me. It releases from the pressure of today, but puts you in the near future and help you to navigate from here into there quickly and frictionless, I guess.
So tell me more about where you're going. You mentioned your horizon, the AI focus. Tell me more about your story.
Well, there are like two parts of this story, Jake. As you know, the first one at Ionis is I'm fully focused on leading successful launches by running effectively and efficiently Omnichannel. And Omnichannel speaks of data and technology. And that's what we're doing, and is happening super fast and is going very, very well. Like we built it from scratch in a company, as you said, that had no experience with Omnichannel before, and now they do. Now we all do. It's integrated. We're working very nicely together. It's highly effective teams, and getting ready for our second launch this year. So that's one part, and that speaks a lot about technology and data. Part of that work is identifying pilots and small POCs with AI now, starting from scratch, making people in cross-functional teams more effective by using tools that help them to navigate better and more effective meetings, and creating PowerPoints and summaries, and effectively spending their time more focused on their strategic thinking than just operational stuff. That's like at the very first step to the what I'm calling intelligence era, which is powered by AI. And everybody's talking about AI, which is the flavor of the month. Very few people know how to implement, how to deploy, and what to do with that, which is funny, but it's happening. So that's the very first step. But on the other hand, you know that I have a blog out of my curiosity. The name is Curious, and is there in Substack, and that's basically because I want to help people to navigate this better, to understand their role, how the role may shift from what they do today into what they will do tomorrow by using, in this case, data and AI. Is that a way that help people to navigate better, to understand better, to upskill them better, and to be part of a new and evolved organization of the future? That's the way I see what I'm doing on my personal side, which is helping people to understand this, to take this all the fear away from them. It's just learn, be curious again, do this better, and have a better understanding of what comes your way, and how do you need to think about it. How do you need to rethink yourself, basically, and your role in a given organization, and how that role will look like in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years from.
You from Colombia originally.
Yep.
Yeah. And you told me a little bit about your upbringing, but it sounded like a very different setting than where you are today. Where in Colombia were you raised?
I was born in Bogota, the capital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you right in the middle of the city, the hustle and bustle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly like that.
Playing soccer in the streets, football.
Yeah, of course. Soccer, football.
Yeah.
And it's football, yeah.
Yeah.
You got it right. Yeah, playing football with friends. And having the privilege of not being a digital native, but learning from when we didn't even have internet.
Yeah.
Or social media. That was the beginning, not even cell phones, right? But everything was organically happening, and I had the privilege of learning about each one of the technologies or advancements that were happening at the time, and learning and organically upskilling myself into that world, which is look, I love it. This is fantastic. But it's also risky not knowing what's going on.
I know you've been through a couple companies. I just spoke with one of your friends at Pfizer recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he spoke very highly of you. I know there's been a few other organizations you've been through, but how did you get from playing football in the streets of Colombia to a major global company in New York City? I know you told me you were building a global team there. Just tell me more about, because what I'm ultimately curious about, Leo, is what's different today from what you've seen in the past. And you've seen so much. And so I'm curious about how the problem's changed, or maybe it hasn't changed and it's back to some fundamentals. I don't know. That's where I'm going. So tell me more about how you get from Colombia to where you are today, and what you think is different or the same that you're going after today than you've seen in the past.
Well, look, I think my main motivation is I'm a lifelong learner, and when I love things. I want to learn whatever I can from there. So my original background is in computer science back in Colombia. And at some point, I found the healthcare industry super attractive to me, how to do better. And I started thinking how to do better by using technology for better patient outcomes and improving processes with clinicians and so on and so forth. And one thing took me to the next one, and I found the opportunity to join a fantastic company like Pfizer back in Colombia, in Bogota. So, and as you know, Pfizer changes every 6 months or so. So I had the privilege to work with multiple regions worldwide, traveling the world, meeting amazing people that just opened my mind into keep learning and keep doing better and improving. And organically, digital was starting like a moving from being technology into integrating with functions like marketing, commercial effectiveness, field force, and so on and so forth. Then organically, field reps they got iPads at some point. That was a fantastic initial move, and then suddenly the App Store just popped up, and then applications were everywhere, and there's an app for that. And that was my transition from technology and computer science into marketing, field force, and all the complement, but with the aspiration of merging what I learned from functions like marketing and commercial and so on and so forth with technology and data. And organically happened through multi-channel at the beginning and omnichannel and digital health now, and that's where I'm at this moment, And I had a fantastic opportunity to join not only Pfizer but other big companies that taught me a lot and drove me to a path up to this moment, which I had the fantastic opportunity to build a function like omnichannel from scratch and integrating digital and data into a company and launching products successfully. And on the side, working to understand opportunities for digital health to improve health outcomes and patient outcomes, and keep working on that path. And if you think about it, it's being part of my story, where now we're talking about not digital but AI, which is bringing intelligence to organizations. And I'm doing my best to learn and improve and just break that down into pieces so people can understand better, and I can share what I learned from my own travel, up to this point. That's my main goal: how to spread the word, how to share what I learned, how to help people to improve, and how to help people to see opportunities with this and not be afraid of losing a job, or being replaced, because that's not how I see. I see a lot of potential in a couple of human AI happening in the very near future. I'm saying that this is not happening now, but it's going to be better in a year, 3 years from now.
We've learned that in order to create buy-in, you need to have people experience, as opposed to
Yeah.
a lecture or telling them, or
Yeah.
even on a scorecard, a financial incentive, all those things. It's something that it reinforced and showed us even a best practice. I remember in Moab, we brought the group together, and you just took them through hands-on experience, the entire group. And coming out of that, I remember a few people eyes really opened, and they determined from that experience, it wasn't more than maybe 45 minutes at most, but I remember a few people coming to me afterwards, and I said, well, did that help? Is that something we should do again? Have a Leo take you through this experience, And they said from that moment forward, they weren't afraid anymore. They'd had the experience, they owned it, and they were ready to make it a part of, not only a part of, but even a priority in their leadership. You've been an example even to us, the mindset creators and shifters, of the experiential part of AI with folks. Anything more you want to say about the power of experience or how you're using it now, maybe at Ionis or maybe through your blog, and the power of building buy-in through experiences?
Yeah, I think, Jake, there's nothing better than having the experience by yourself, you know? It's just that takes the fear apart and away from you. It's just test and try. Small things like getting to whatever Gen AI engine is. Let's talk about ChatGPT and let's start testing and trying prompts. When I talk to people that has never done that before, it's just like, but I don't know how to do it. And I go like, what are the questions you want to ask? Oh, I can ask this and this and this. Let's get into the screen and ask the questions and see what happens. It's not going to bite you. You can start from there. It's just a small experience. Then you iterate and you ask better questions. As you learn more and you see better results, you ask better questions. And then you start like connecting with more things, like more data or more data points that you can bring to the model. And then you can build something. And you can put that something out there and make people to test and try as well. It's just a set of small steps that are building confidence and also allow you to see the results and see how to iterate and how to make that better. It's just, you're not going to make like a big thing happening overnight, but you can take the small steps, put your fears away, and just learn as you go.
Really powerful. There are these small things that we overlook, and we don't realize that they're truly pivot moments. So getting somebody from explaining and Gen AI and telling them they shouldn't be afraid to experiencing Gen AI and learning for themselves that they shouldn't be afraid. It's very powerful.
That makes the whole difference, right?
Yeah, it
because
does.
Nothing better that people can test and try and feel it.
Exactly.
It's just, okay, this is the, and at that moment they can just see opportunities to apply that they never saw before until they just test it. It's just because I remember at that meeting people just and maybe I can do that, right, Leo? And I go like, of course you can. Just try it. Like the video that we created and things that we created with the people there is super smart people, very good friends I made there. And that was just the moment where people started seeing the opportunity behind something they didn't know before. Some of them they did, but some others they don't. So when they see the opportunity, when they test and try, they feel it, they start looking at, oh, maybe I can do this, or maybe I can ask that. And that's a moment where innovation happening.
100%. Leo, as we wrap up, thinking about our experiences together, what you're learning as you're trying to accelerate digital adoption, anything that you would say to a leader who feels frustrated, stuck, unable to get the promise of AI into their results?
Yeah, I would say just pause for a bit, step back, and define exactly what do you want to achieve. Just like a look into that opportunity of what do I want to achieve, and then the how will come. It's not like the other way around. Start with AI and try to solve for everything. Just, this is the problem that I want to solve. This is the data that I can bring to the mix so I can solve for that problem. These are the questions that I have at this moment, but maybe at that point they can start looking to different questions and different ways of looking at the problem and the data, and then build the solution. It's not jumping on, as we said before, it's not jumping on the technology right away. It's just navigate a better way to define your problem by looking to the elements that you have now that you didn't have 3 years ago, which is data. And then you just build the model and just pause it for a bit. Just take your time, break that down, and put it super clear so everybody understands what you want to achieve. And then you just figure out the how, which is small POCs, small pilots that test and try, solve for a small part of your problem, and then you can scale that up.
Great advice. It's a bit ironic, and it's also trite. Slow down to go fast.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's fantastic summary, that's the only way.
It's the only way.
Because if you want to achieve everything at once, it's not going to happen. You're going to spend a lot of money and dollars, and frustration will come right away.
Exactly right. Well,
yeah.
We're excited for any leaders that want to join us in our next cohort. Leo, we keep it to 12. I don't know if I've told you that before, but we intentionally limit or cap the number of participants to 12 so that they can have the kind of experience that you had, where people truly become friends.
That's good.
Yeah, and they become a cohort for life to support each other and have that mindset shift and experience together that allows us to go fast. As we close up, Leo, the one thing I always like to tell people, but I don't think you need to hear this because you've been preaching it to me. Do one thing that scares you every day.
That's good.
That's an accelerant.
Yeah. That's the beginning of something great.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, Leo. Appreciate you, man.
No, thank you, Jake. Thank you for having me.
You bet.
That's great.